Y'all need to wake up. These were the words of a young girl named Marissa. She and her fourth grade class were sharing with me a list of things they wanted grown-ups to know. I'd asked these students to be honest with their feedback, and they did not pull any punches. My promise to Marissa's class was the same promise I'd go on to give to every classroom I'd visit along the way, that these suggestions would be passed along by me to the grown-up world. For Marissa, as for many of the students I spent time with, knowing that her words might be presented to the older humans of the planet brought out a deep sense of urgency. When she spoke up, she did so with great conviction. The sly smile on her face seemed to suggest she strongly believed that her words might rattle the status quo. With all the sass this young girl could muster, she looked at me and said, "Y'all need to wake up." So grown-ups, y'all need to wake up. Marissa said so. Just passing this along. I set a goal of listening to at least one elementary school classroom in each of the 50 states. I even gave this a name, the listening tour. The response from schools was so positive that there was no shortage of people willing to join me in this odd little project. Then, to complicate things further, I discovered how much I loved doing it. It quickly went from 50 classrooms to more than 100. The listening tour wasn't about me visiting schools with something to share. Normally when people go on tour, they have something to perform or present. With this project, I was essentially touring as a one-man audience member. My job was to listen, while also occasionally throwing out some questions. With every question, I discovered just how much children had to share. Questions focused on what they thought of grown-ups, what kind of grown-up they wanted to become, and, of course, how grown-ups could be better. The answers were as diverse as the students and the learning environments from which they came. Sometimes they were vague. Grown-ups should be cool. When I asked exactly how to do that, one girl replied, cool. I wish I did, but sadly, I do not know cool. Sometimes the responses were much longer. One student named Hayden was inspired to write,
"The Declaration of Kidindependence. I declare the freedom of kids because adults mistreat us because of our age. We, the kids, should be treated with respect as adults have for each other. We, the kids, should have fun because all work, school, and no play is no way to live. We, the kids, 0 to 18 years old, should be loved and be treated nicely, for we have only a limited amount of time before adulthood. We, the kids, want rights. We want freedom."
His mom told me that Hayden had hung it on his bedroom door at home, like a modern-day Martin Luther nailing his 95 Theses on the church door. Doesn't that belong in a film? Can't you just hear the music swelling? It's a pretty audacious and stylish way to deliver your message. The first time I saw this, I laughed. But the more I thought about it, the more I envied this kid's passion and daring. I want to live with that same sort of spirit. There was a time when I did express myself and my emotions in such big ways, but adulthood muted that. This book, I guess you could say, is my note on the bedroom door. I'm just trying to be like Hayden. In the end, I listened to more than 100 conversations in classrooms across the United States. They revealed so much about a wide array of topics, but overwhelmingly, a few common themes emerged. And there was one giant theme that refused to go away. From classroom to classroom, visit to visit, interview to interview, time and again, it became abundantly clear. Kids want grown-ups to be present. This wish echoed in the words of Marissa as she asked that we wake up, and in the requests of nearly every single child I spent time with. It was a request from children spoken sometimes between the lines, sometimes subtly, sometimes loudly, and sometimes even with these exact two little words: show up.